If you're me, it's all about being real versus being relevant. And this is a video where it's about being relevant more than it's about being real. What I have to do is look at the comment section each day and each week and find out what is relevant to you. What are you talking about? What is inspiring you to go through the trouble to leave a comment? Because that's what I need to make more content about it that week. That makes this a relevant channel. And that's what this video is about me being relevant more so than me being real and saying the stuff that I really would want to on my own. But because of you, I need to talk more about pornography. Here's why. Earlier today, in my version of the world, I posted a video. I started out the morning by posting a video called Men's Hair Loss, Why Are Older Generations Bothered Less by It? And in that, I explained it's not a coincidence that people who were born before the internet, men born before the internet had a much less, their version of pornography was much more tame and much less accessible than people born after the internet. And that undeniably has to do with crushing one's identity and self-esteem and all those things from a psychological point of view. I'm not talking about morality, I'm not talking about religion, I'm talking about psychological effects. So let's read some of these comments, because I've made videos where I've mentioned this before and most people sort of silently agreed. They watched the video, they liked it, but they didn't comment. But for some reason this time when I brought it up, I'm getting skepticism, and I want to address that skepticism by you leaving more comments so that we can sort this out. I don't need anyone to agree with me. I know that many do on this. And the ones who spoken on this video are the ones mainly who don't. Okay? I'm okay if you're not on my side, but I think it's important that we carry on this conversation because no one else in the entire world is talking about the psychological breakdown that pornography causes on a man's mind, aside from religion, aside from morality. I'm it. I'm the only thing that exists. All right, here we go. Here's some comments. I won't read names because I don't want to make anyone feel uncomfortable. First comment, pornography, please get some help before it's too late for you. Next, please define porn. I think it's culturally defined and it's not the same all over the world. I agree with the other responses that point at social media. That is the real cause for the obsession with their looks by the younger generations. The social media dictates how they should look. Most men are shown with perfect hair. Young women were shown with extremely thin. That was caused a trend toward anorexia. Next, quite surprised you went with porn as the scapegoat. I would think it'd be due to things like social media and Instagram, where all the beautiful people with perfect hair are glorified. Let's see, next. What were cavemen bothered by? Probably nothing, because their focus was on survival. Us first world countries are spoiled. We have food, drink, and a roof over our heads. We even have something called the internet, which promotes, propagates, and proliferates all kinds of things. We are more exposed to solutions for our problems than ever before, so ultimately our minds are going to gravitate towards them and the problems themselves, of course. All right, then here's the final one I'm looking at. I agree that younger generations are more affected, but not sure porn is the main cause. I think it comes from a broader trend where people, men and women, are bombarded with media telling them what is beautiful and what they need to look good. It is a general trend that has led to a number of body images, not just hair loss, end quote. So there's just kind of run through of those things. And I totally agree that social media and the selfie generation, is not helping anything. But here's the thing, we're able to talk about, and we all know that social media is fake, right? Even in the opening line of this video, I addressed the fact that as a successful YouTuber who knows how to bring in subscribers, that I always am at a war with myself. Do I want to be real and talk about what I care about today? Or do I need to make a video directed to what people want to watch and are going to comment? That's going to get people watching and subscribing. So that's a personal battle I go through every single day, right? So much of my content is made for you, not for me to express myself and what the things I care about that day, right? Okay, so yes, social media is a big deal, but people are aware that social media is fake, even though they sort of buy into that same fantasy. Pornography is different though. People don't talk about pornography. It's this very private thing that's not really talked about, and definitely not talked about, again, from a non-religious, non-morality sort of perspective. It's really just not talked about. The psychological effects are not talked about. And I'm totally comfortable with the fact that many people disagree that pornography is related to that, okay? So I think I need to end this video by leaving it to you in the comment section, or giving this video a thumbs up or thumbs down as far as, do you agree, aside from all the social media stuff, do you agree with me that the younger generations, having been more exposed to pornography at such a younger age and at such a higher capacity, and by the way, to define pornography, I'd say it this: any sort of visual aid that is going to be associated with masturbation. Is that a good, I need to keep it vague enough, but also specific, okay? Because again, in the 1880s, it's not like, do I need to go back further than that? In the 1650s, men looking at drawings of women, if that's what it was, paintings or whatever it was, is not the same. It is still pornography, if that's what it's been used for, but that's not the same thing as going on the website and you putting the search engine, or however it works, because again, I've never looked at porn, right? And that's why I'm talking about it, because I've been unaffected by it, and yet I'm a very confident person, and I'm not having these issues and struggles that so many men, especially younger than me, have. Okay, so again, I want to close the video now, reminding you, you don't need to agree with me on this. You don't have to agree with me. If you disagree, it's totally cool, right? I will continue talking about this as long as you keep talking about it in the comments, which tells me that it's relevant. I talk about relevant things on this channel. But if you take a guy like me who's never looked at pornography and who's confident, and you take another guy who's been looking at pornography on the internet since he was a teenager and still is looking at that, you compare the two of us psychologically, I would have to assume that the guy like me is going to have less issues with confidence and identity, and also not letting hair loss bother him. All right? So, you don't have to agree with me, but I think this is a very important discussion that we're having, and I've been talking about this for about a month now, and finally, people are talking about it in the comments. Before, people were not commenting, they were just watching the video. Finally, I've got some people saying, Nick, I don't quite agree with you. I think it's more social media. Nick Shell says, yes, social media and commercials and TV, whatever it is, that's all a thing, selfie generation. But Nick Shell says specifically, pornography, the exposure, the rate of exposure. Here's what I believe. If you want to disagree with me on this. I believe that men being exposed to pornography at such a young age, so easily and so abundantly, it's like your mind is being raped. That's truly what I believe. I believe it's like your mind is being raped. And it's like you're having to deal with the trauma and overcome a trauma for something that was taken away from you. Even if you expose yourself to it, there's no way that you could humanly be ready for something so unnatural. Okay, now go ahead and disagree with me right here in the comments.